Hi guys, I hope everyone is doing good. Today we are going to start with the first topic, classical evolution. Before starting, I want everyone to know that I have included all the information which is necessary for any UPSC aspirant to write any answer. If you will listen the class carefully and read the information which I have mentioned in my slides, which is more than enough to write any answer. So I request be focused in the class. Okay, let's start with the topic. The topic is classical evolution. Before that, we will see what is meant by evolution. The gradual process of development of different kind of forms from earlier forms in an orderly manner is called evolution. It seems quite confusing, right? I will try to explain it neatly. Evolution is a gradual process. Important. It is a gradual process, not a sudden gradual process. In this process, different new kind of forms, different forms will be produced or developed from its earlier forms in an order. There is a order, there is a new form or different form from its earlier form. Okay, you might be confusing with this form. What is meant by this form? Okay, forms are anything. For example, I might have mentioned that different kind of living beings produced from earlier living beings. But the question is, evolution is not limited to the living beings. You can keep in that place any eating habits or any dressing style or any hairstyle, anything for that matter. That's why I have mentioned different kind of forms. Okay, from its earlier forms. Earlier a kind of form will be there. Now it is developing into a new one. It will follow a order. This orderly development of different kind of forms in an earlier form in the gradual way is called as evolution. I hope everyone understood it. Now the topic of classical evolution introduction. Classical evolution is the first theory in anthropology. First theory, it was developed during later half of 19th century. Between 1859 to 1900, this theory of classical evolution was evolved. This period between 1859 to 1900 we called as constructive phase of anthropology. Okay, uh, these phases of anthropology we will discuss later thoroughly, but for your understanding now, there are total four phases will be there in the anthropology. One is formative phase, and the second one is convergent phase, and the third one is constructive phase, and fourth one is critical phase. So this phase, constructive phase, is between the period of 1859 to 1900. In each phase, new developments will be happen. Based on the development, these phases were named. These things we will see in the later class. But as of now, understood that classical evolution as a theory was developed in the phase of constructive phase. Important. The classical evolutionists, they have postulated the evolutionary scheme to project a cultural development. They have explained the cultural development by using evolutionary theories. That is what they mean to say. Coming to historical background, it is very important to understand uh, why the classical evolution as a theory was born. Before the classical evolution as a theory was born, there are two concepts. One is by Herbert Spencer. The concept is social evolution. He says that societies were evolved from one stage to another stage because because of competition existing between the societies. Because of this competition, the societies will evolve. The same way, the Darwin will propose the evolution of biological things. He says that because there is a competition for the biological beings for different forms, for example, for food there is a competition, for mating there is a competition, for anything there is a competition. Because there is a existence of competition, the biological or living beings also will be evolved. By using these two concepts, classical evolutionists thought, why don't the same concept applies to the culture? Culture also will evolve in the same way. This resulted in the emergence of classical evolutionism. Now I will read, then you will understand it very clearly. The concept of social evolution by Herbert Spencer and biological evolution by Darwin encouraged the evolutionist to believe in evolution of culture, and it resulted in emergence of classical evolutionism. Beautiful, right? Coming to schools of thought, there are majorly three schools of thought are there. First one is British, second one is German, and third one is American. In British again there are three classical evolutionists. One is E.B. Taylor, second one is Fraser, and the third one is Mine. In German, Bachofen, Bastian, and Morgan. Morgan is in American. Okay. Among all these personalities, we will study majorly about Taylor, Fraser, and Morgan only, because these three personalities' names are mentioned in our syllabus. About these three personalities, we will study in the later classes. This is most important thing that we are going to study in today's topic, the concept that proposed by the classical evolutionists. They said that culture always evolves in unilinear and sequential manner. Unilinear means in the single direction, one way. There is no coming back. For example, a village is developed into a mandal, mandal to district, district to state. It is a one-way direction, right? There is no comeback. The mandal cannot turn into village. The district cannot turn into mandal. Means only one-way direction is there. There is no comeback. That unidirection is called unilinear evolution. And sequential manner means step by step. First village will become mandal, then taluk, then becomes a district. A village cannot directly become the district. There is a sequence that the culture evolves. I hope it is clear. Culture always evolves unilinear in a single direction and sequential step by step. The second point, culture evolves from simple to complex, homogeneity to heterogeneity, and indefinite to definite. We will see about each thing. Culture evolves from simple to complex. What does it mean? Simple to complex means once upon a time people are using only stone or rock tools. Later times wood came. So they tied the stone tools to the wood and they have used it. Bow and arrow. Okay. Once upon a time only stick is there. Now stick with the arrow with the thread. So the complexity of tool increased. So the culture of the tool evolved from simple to complex. Second one, homogeneity to heterogeneity. See, once upon a time there is only one language was born. Out of that now thousands. So many languages. So there is a culture evolves into heterogeneity. It explains that. And indefinite to definite. It means that once upon a time there is no proper marriage rules. We don't know who will marry whom. There is no rules. But now there is a definite rules who will marry whom. What is the process of marriage? So culture is evolved from indefinite to definite, right? So culture evolves from simple to complex, homogeneity to heterogeneity, and indefinite to definite. I hope it is perfect. The third point we will discuss in the next slide. The fourth point, cultural survivals of both material and non-material things used as proof. Cultural survivals means these are the cultures born in the history. In the previous period, these cultures were evolved or born. Still, these cultures are continuing or surviving. Such cultures which are born in the past and still continuing, we call the cultural survivals. Those cultures both the cultures of material cultures and non-material cultures we used as a proof for this classical evolution. Simple only. So this is the concept. Okay. Coming to methods, classical evolutionists used majorly secondary sources, except Morgan, comparative and deductive methods. First, secondary sources. Secondary sources are nothing but the sources which the authors are not directly collected the information. The authors are collecting information from other literatures or from other person's data. For example, one traveler visit to some other place. So these authors will collect the data from that travelers. These authors won't go directly to the studies place and they won't study the individuals directly. They will take the data from different sources and they will combine and they will try to give a theory. Such types of sources we call as secondary sources. Comparative method. Okay, this is important. Uh, we have seen multiple authors, right? Majorly we have seen British, German and American authors, right? These persons created this classical evolution because they have to compare their culture with another culture. Because of that, this comparative method of study is evolved. They have used a comparative method. Okay. The major drawback of this thing is that while studying in this way, they will keep their culture at the center. They will assume that their culture is at the center, means their culture is superior. And they will study, for example, they will take dressing style of their culture and they will study what is the dressing styles in the different parts of the world, and they will finally conclude that the cultures in this world are inferior to their culture or their dressing style. This way of seeing other cultures from the lens of their culture is called as ethnocentric. That is one of the criticism for this comparative method, for this classical evolution. They will keep their culture at the center and they will study the remaining cultures. That study is called as ethnocentric study. Okay. Next one is deductive method. There are majorly two types of methods uh, used by the authors. One is deductive method and another one is inductive method. So, what does it mean is that there are two ways for proposing any theory. First, to propose the theory and then collect the data and try to explain the theory is correct or not. This is one way. And another one way is that first collect the data and then try to give the theory based on the data. This is another way. So first giving theory and collecting data and supporting the theory is correct or not, that way is called deductive method. First collecting the data and giving the theory, that way is called as inductive method. I hope it is fine. So this is the third point that we have skipped in the concept, the psychic unity of mankind. The psychic unity of mankind, this topic is used to explain why the cultures are similar in different parts of world. The cultural similarities across the globe are explained by using two processes. One is diffusion and another one is parallel invention. Diffusion is a topic that we will study later point. So parallel invention is a topic that we will study here. Okay. Psychic unity of mankind and parallel inventions. These two we need to study combinedly. Then only we will get the exact information, knowledge what it is. Okay. Parallel invention means at the same time development. For example, in India, the society or the people born at the same time, or the culture born at the same time. In Africa, the culture born at the same time. For example, the culture we are studying, for example, the eating habit, otherwise the dressing style of about what you are studying. If you are studying anything, if these two things are born at the same time, parallelly these both things are invented, it means that there is similar environment is existing to born at the same time in different two places. Similar environment is there in the Africa, similar environment is there in the India. So parallelly, in the both places, similar culture evolves. Okay, culture evolves. Then what is meant by psychic unity? Psychic unity is that human beings, it says that this psychic unity theory says that human beings born with similar or equal mental capabilities or thought process. It leads to the, they will think because they are having same capabilities and because they are having same thought process, their mind reacts same to the environment, similar environment. If there is a similar environment, because there is a similar mental capabilities and the thought process, because there is similar thought process, because there is similar environment, so similarly they will think, exactly equally they will think and they will develop. Indian people will develop in the same way, African people will develop in the same, because of this similar environment and similar thought process. These two places are having similar cultures. What is providing similar environment here? Parallel invention. Parallel invention provides similar environment. Because there is a similar environment, the psychic unity, it makes the persons behaves in the same way, so the similar culture evolves. Parallel invention, psychic unity, same culture. So this is the reason why the similar cultures are existing throughout the world, I mean different parts of the world. The psychic unity of mankind explains why there is similarities in the cultures in the different parts of world. It cannot explain why the differences are there. This is one of the again drawback of the theory. Coming to accomplishments, it is the first theory in anthropology, as we discussed. It made anthropology an independent academic discipline. So classical evolution was born between 1859 to 1900, but anthropology as a academic discipline was formed in 1884, between this period only. 1884, in the Oxford University, anthropology as a subject was inculcated. And the next point is that successfully substituted comparative method against experimental method. So before this classical evolution was born, people are using experimental methods. They are not much using the comparative methods. But with this study, with this classical evolution, it replaced or substituted experimental method with comparative method. I hope it is clear. Now we will go to criticism. It is important. We called classical evolutionists as armchair anthropologists. It means that they haven't visited any field. They just sit in the chair and they will collect the data from different sources and they will study. That's why we called them as armchair anthropologists. We already discussed what is meant by ethnocentric, seeing the different cultures from the lens of their culture by placing their culture at the center and analyzing another cultures is called as ethnocentric. So this classical evolutionist did that. Okay. We also discussed this point that they have explained why the cultural similarities across the globe, but they haven't explained why the cultural differences. We have seen that the cultures evolves. They said that culture evolves in the unilinear way. There is no regression, right? Means it should go further. It evolve in a bigger way, but some became extinct. Some cultures became extinct, and some not passed all the levels. Means some skipped. Some directly jumped into some directly jumped into higher cultures. There is they they haven't explained why it is. So finally, the conclusion part. Though it had its fair merits, that is accomplishment, and demerits, that is criticisms. Being first theory of anthropology, it paved a way for future research. It is being first theory of anthropology, it paved a way. Nothing much to explain in this point. But I hope you people can write better conclusion than this. Try to write it. Okay. Yeah, we are done with the topic. uh, I hope i I feel I have mentioned all the points which is necessary for the exam. If you have still have any doubts regarding this topic or any concerns, do write in my comment section so that I will see them and I will try to solve them. Until that, take care. We'll see you in the next class. If you like the class, do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.